Here we go then. Premier League football is back. Welcome to the home of the Kings of Europe. Chelsea take on Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge for the first game of the 2021-2022 Premier League season. Looking forward to this one. It's going to be very, very good. And a brand new Matchday live show as well to talk you through. So we've got Ben Andrews and Jason Cundy up on the gantry for us. Boys, are you there? Are you in place? Are you allowed to speak to us yet? I believe so. I believe they're there. Zach.
Not allowed to just yet.
I could just about hear them, I think. I think we could, yeah. I think they're definitely there. They're in place anyway. I'm also joined by the brilliant Zach Jelliver as well. Zach, are you good, mate?
I'm good, mate. Buzzing for the first day of the season. I really am. I can't wait.
Absolutely. And the brilliant Elizabeth is joining us as our international fan. Elizabeth, who is in New York via Madrid. So Elizabeth's up very, very early for us today. Elizabeth, how are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Absolutely buzzing for the game.
Good, brilliant. Well, let's have a quick look at what's coming up then on the brand new Matchday Live for us. Starting with team news very, very shortly for you. We will then do the social, which is a look across everything going on across Chelsea over on social media the last couple of weeks. Warming up live, we'll see that with Jason and Ben, who are up in the gantry. We'll see little bits and pieces and final few touches of Chelsea before they take on Crystal Palace. Live commentary, and then we are back for the Pulse full time, which is a big reaction show. So hopefully 3 points and Chelsea starting a Premier League winning title campaign. Elizabeth, we'll start then. But yeah, exactly. We're all fingers crossed. All fingers crossed. Pre-season is done now. How are you feeling about the season ahead? Are you feeling good?
Honestly, with Thomas Tuchel in charge, I just feel so confident with this Chelsea team winning the Champions League after having only been in charge for a couple of months. And then now we've just gone and signed Lukaku, who's one of the best strikers in the world. Yeah, that goal, I think that's the Super Cup Ziyech goal. Timo Ziyech connection has been insane as well. Really unfortunate about his injury, but I'm just feeling really confident going into this game.
Absolutely. And Zach, how couldn't you be confident? We're just seeing the fact that Chelsea have already picked up a piece of silverware and we've not even kicked a ball in the official season start this year. So what a nice way to finish pre-season and start the season. Another European star on our shirt, as it were.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, this goal, not so much. It was during the part of the game where we'd probably fallen asleep a bit, but it got them to wake up a bit. And yeah, I mean, what a way to start the season. Win a piece of silverware already, get the motivation behind the boys to want even more. Even for the guys well that had just come back from the Euros, Mason, Jorginho getting onto the pitch, getting those minutes under their belt. And then the real story was Kerr Arrizabalaga.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're just seeing it now. Obviously, Edouard Mendy. I think everybody, Elizabeth, was kind of, like you've already said, in Thomas Tuchel we trust. So as soon as you see the manager's making a change like that, you feel fine. But outside in, a goalkeeper being subbed on just before penalties, everyone must think, oh, OK, this is planned. But us as Chelsea fans, we were like, I didn't know this was happening either. So we were as shocked as everyone else.
Yeah, and I think there's just a lot of pressure if you're brought on specifically for penalties. So it was a really big moment for Kepa, and he did a job. He did what he was brought to do, which is save 2 penalties absolutely brilliantly and ended up winning the cup for Chelsea. Just look how much it means to him. It honestly brings tears to my eyes because he deserved it so much.
It's been brilliant, isn't it? It's been really, really fun as well to see the redemption arc of Kepa, like you said there, Elizabeth. And you know, he deserves it massively because he's one of those people that he's really nice to have around the camp. And you know, you see him massively involved here, enjoying it. We've seen massively all the shots of him enjoying life and enjoying the celebrations. This tweet, I think, was one of the perfect setups about how good Kepa was. Really, everything about him has been fantastic in what he's been through. We understand what he's been through, but this is it. Restorer of joy, giver of hope, the saviour. Kepa appreciation tweet, Zach, and that sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
It really is. It really is. It's not easy to become maybe the second choice goalkeeper, and some people may find that hard and not train as hard, but he's come out and said, 100% I train as hard as I possibly can, and then it's fantastic.
Well, this is exactly what you're saying there. You know, it may not have been first choice, but the fact that you could definitely see the love between Mendy and Kepa, Elizabeth, is important, isn't it? It's that team mentality, and we all love to buy into the fact that Chelsea's a big family, but that shows it, doesn't it?
Definitely. I think that they both did the job that they were brought to do. And, you know, massive credit as well to Thomas Tuchel because his man management kind of prepared them both that the data shows that Kepa is a better penalty saver. So if this match does go to penalties, I'm going to bring Kepa on. And just to see the camaraderie between the two of them was really good. I think that the dressing room, the vibe in the dressing room has been brilliant.
Absolutely, and Thomas Tuchel has clearly got the Midas touch, as we can see from this tweet here. He's definitely doing something special. He definitely knows something that we don't know, and I think this is exactly it, isn't it? Really, Thomas Tuchel subbing on Kerr for the Super Cup penalty shootout. Some of my genius is it's almost frightening.
Class, I love that.
It is. It's a great tweet, and again, it sums everything up, Zach, because genius is the right word, isn't it?
It really is. Look, it's got to the point now. I've said it before, and I might as well say it again. Like every time I've thought, what maybe this isn't the right idea. This formation, bringing on this player, starting this guy. Every time that player is like the best on the pitch and shows why Thomas Tuchel is the manager of Chelsea and why I can't get a gig as a manager.
Absolutely right. Well, let's have a little look at the team that Thomas Tuchel has selected for today. He's going to have got this right. Of course he is. We know he is. He's got so many options and so many difficult decisions to make and things like that. But Zach, when it comes to players that when the first game of the season, you can read quite a lot into his team selection, can't you? And you're not really sure who ahead of time is going to be in it. And then when you do find out who's in it, it's the opportunity to keep hold of that shirt.
Oh, 100%. And obviously the game earlier this week, going to extra time, 120 minutes. Some players may have got more minutes than Thomas had expected. But yeah, it's all about once you get your opportunity, take it, and you'll be rewarded if you do well.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, let's have a look at the team news then, shall we? If we can, let's have a look at the team news that Thomas Tuchel has selected. A front three of Timo Werner, Christian Pulisic, and Mason Mount. We're used to seeing that front three, but then you look at a newish name, not if you've been watching any of the pre-season, in the back three, and Trevor Chiloba starting alongside Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger, Cesar Azpilicueta at right wing back, Mateo Kovacic, Jorginho, and Marcos Alonso. Which I'll be honest with you,
I'm gobsmacked.
I'm loving to see, but I'm very surprised. And Elizabeth, you'll get this a lot better than Zach will, because I've got two Chelsea players, in fact 3 Chelsea players that aren't in the starting 11. I knew I was taking a hit on Lukaku, but I did have Kai Havertz and Callum Hudson-Odoi, so had a bit of a nightmare there. What do you think of this team? Is there any surprises in there for you, Elizabeth?
For me, I think the biggest surprise is Chiloba after having played 120 minutes in the Super Cup. That was kind of where I wasn't sure where players were going to come in, if they were going to be rested. Shows massive belief in Chiloba from Thomas Tuchel, and I'm really excited. I thought that he really impressed, and the Chelsea Academy is just doing so well. And the other surprise for me was Alonso. I thought Chilwell might come in after Alonso had played so many minutes, but I understand Chilwell came back to training late, so not as much of a surprise, but still, interesting team selection.
Oh, definitely. Well, this is the blessing of having a good big squad, Zach, isn't it? Because whoever the manager picks, you're confident with, even if there are 3 or 4 names you didn't expect to see starting.
100%. Yeah, probably more changes than I would have expected. But you see Mason Mount in there, you see Aspie in there. I think the first 10 minutes they were just getting back used to it in the Super Cup, and then they quickly snapped into being the ultimate professional they are. Obviously maybe the 120 minutes for Kai was maybe a bit too much, and in the end he'll be on the bench, I assume. But and ready to come on if needed as well. It's such a good squad, and even though you're surprised, every player has the quality to perform in their position.
Absolutely right. Well, I know that 2 people that have a lot more information on it, because they'll have been seeing the players warming up. Perhaps they've got a little whisper early doors. They're up in the gantry for us, of course. The brilliant Ben Andrews and Jason Cundy. Boys, what have you got for us?
Well, we're just digesting it, same as you there. The 120 minutes, I'm thinking, must have been a factor with Kai. I think we all thought he looked knackered, but there are 4 people in this 11 today who did play all 2 hours. Alonso, Rudiger, Chiloba and Kovacic. New number 8, by the way, this season, Kovacic. So Ross Barkley has lost that number and Mateo changes. Just a little thing there. Jace, what do you make of the team?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a strong side. It's difficult. I think it's hard. If there's ever a game you're trying to predict what the team is going to be, it's the first game of the season, because of pre-season, especially this season that we've just had here. I'm glad Mason's back. He's a fit boy. He's a young kid. The fact that he's not trained as much as everyone else, the fact that he's not played any minutes, or has come off the bench, of course, doesn't really. I mean, that can't have any effect on him. He's a fit boy. He was for every game, so that doesn't.
He looked just like Mason Mount anyway.
He added a real energy to our side when he came off the bench.
He did indeed. By the way, just on Crystal Palace, they've had obviously a slightly easier preparation. They didn't have a Super Cup midweek. Their 11 is exactly as it was last weekend for their final pre-season game. So that's the kind of nice pre-season you would like as a boss that Patrick Vieira has got, where he's picked the same 11 that he had for his final pre-season game, and it wasn't 3 nights ago playing 2 hours in a penalty shootout. But in terms of the Blues, they're big for Pulisic in the absence of Ziyech, and Timo Werner it would appear, will be in the middle of that front three.
Yeah, it's very fluid though, isn't it? That movement. One drops in, one goes into that space. It's the movement. Those front three have got to drag their back line into positions they don't want to be and then take advantage. The goal against Man City is the perfect example of that, where you saw the centre-halves coming out, Kai Havertz drifts into that space and gets the goal. That's what we've got to do. Werner, for me, is not a number 9, but that doesn't mean to say he can't play a role in this system with this team. He can drift. He doesn't have to stay high. He can drop into areas, maybe come out to the left, which he likes to do. Someone else can fill that space. So you need fluidity here.
You do, and we've seen plenty of that already in the few months we've had under Thomas Tuchel. A note on Reece James and Ben Chilwell, who've not had a kick in pre-season yet, nor Thiago Silva. They are all on the bench. I'm sure some of you would have seen by now. No N'Golo at all today, and no Lukaku either. Unspecified injury on N'Golo, and Romelu is basically quarantining for a couple of days just to be absolutely safe. But so we're not going to see him just yet, but Arsenal, look out, maybe next weekend. Just the other one I wanted to talk about, Jason, was Trevor Chiloba, arguably Chelsea's best player this pre-season and keeping his place on merit.
Wow, what a performance, in particular second half. I thought he was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. The best Chelsea player I felt on the night, and he deserves his place. And I remember speaking to the lads in the studio before the game about, can you fight for your place in this Super Cup? He said, I know it's competitive, but it's still pre-season. That performance has got him a starting place today. Don't make no mistake. It could have been easier if he didn't play well to drop Aspie in there and bring in Reece. That could have happened. So he's earned his place.
Or even Kurt Zouma, who is on the bench, but absolutely in on merit. Trevor Chiloba. They need to think of a song for Trev, those who are in the Matthew Harding this afternoon. Back to you.
It's worth carrying on the chat that the boys are having there about Trevor Chiloba because, I mean, he has been sensational pre-season, Zach, and he's another one come through that illicit Chelsea academy that seemed to produce players after players after players. Up against one in Mark Gurhey today for Crystal Palace, but like the boys are saying, well deserving of his opportunity today. Coming
into pre-season, I think if you'd said to people Trevor Chiloba will be starting the first Premier League game of the season, people would have been quite shocked. They'd obviously already known that the back three of our centre-backs being normally Aspie, Rudiger and Christensen or Zouma fitting in there. But he has come in during this pre-season and shown Thomas Tuchel how good of a player he is. Out of all of them, I think he's the one that's probably surprised Tuchel the most and gone, wow, you are brilliant, and has been fantastic in every pre-season game that we've watched. Was brilliant in the Super Cup. I've seen little videos of him where Lionel Messi has taken the ball over to the corner flag and he's the ball boy. It's amazing for him. I'm so proud of him. I feel like Nathaniel Chiloba, his older brother, must be absolutely buzzing. His whole family. Good luck to him. I think he'll be fantastic. He really will. Let's have a look at the reaction on social media of the team news then that has just come out. Obviously, a lot of Chelsea fans having their say and getting very excited. Yes. This is one. This is Elizabeth. This kind of sums it all up, isn't it? Just all caps, Trev. That's all we need to know.
I know it's so exciting to see, and I think more than anything, it says that if you have a good game, you're going to play, and Thomas Tuchel is playing based off of merit, and anybody can really have a run in the side. So really exciting for Trev.
So this one, Trevor starting, love the lineup, 3 points please. I think we're all very much hoping that. And Pulisic versus Palace again.
Not wrong.
And I'm going to ask you this, Elizabeth, because I know you're in New York at the moment and we know Christian Pulisic is very much an icon and a national hero over there. But that's the Christian Pulisic we want to see, isn't it? The one that we saw straight after lockdown last summer where he was the best player by a distance against Crystal Palace.
Definitely, and I think that Pulisic is such a talented player. He really can run with the ball. He runs into space. He can dribble out of trouble as well. So we know what type of player he is, and I'm just hoping that he can get off the ground running, so to speak, and slot in a goal or two today against Palace.
He's a player, isn't he, Zach? And we've seen this quite a lot. He's a player that you're so desperate to have a bit of good luck. You know, every time he gets into a bit of form, he seems to pick up an injury. But he's starting the season this year. Bearing in mind, this time last year, he didn't start the season because of the injury he picked up in the FA Cup final. Season before that, I believe, was his first season under Frank. So again, that was quite a difficult time for him to come in and adjust and everything like that. So this is the first proper pre-season, the first start of the season we get a brilliant, in-form, fully fit Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, indeed, and I'm buzzing for him. He's also been pretty good, actually, during pre-season as well. And I think this is the year for Christian that he can really come on. I think he's obviously, every time he's started to be really good and been kind of the guy that's taken and dragged through Chelsea sometimes when needed, he's picked up an injury. It's that hamstring. And he's had a few weeks and months now where he seems to be injury-free. He seems to be playing a good amount of minutes and coming off okay. And so, yeah, I think this season, if he can stay fit, he can be a real good attacker for us in this Chelsea side.
Absolutely agree. Right, and let's have a little look at a new segment for Matchday Live called The Social, which is basically a look across everything going on across Chelsea FC, across the social media in general. This is going to be really fun, actually, because I'm looking forward to it, because there's quite a lot this week, bearing in mind there's one big thing that has happened. So let's have a look at this. So here we go then, a look across everything that's been going on across Chelsea on social media the last week or so, and there is definitely something that we're going to get to. We're talking about show and tell, which is going to be something really cool. Trending as well, which is going to be loosely, I say trending, it's going to be about one man majorly this week, isn't it? Over land and sea as well, we will talk about brilliant Elizabeth and her journey as well from being a Chelsea fan from abroad. And then we've got, in case you missed it, fantasy football chat as well, which I think we're probably going to breeze past because I've seen Bruno Fernandes doing something who I haven't got in the team. And as I've already alluded to, I've got a couple of Chelsea players that aren't in the squad. So let's not talk about that. Let's start, though, with show and tell, shall we? Because this is going to be really fun. We're going to talk about, I suppose, opening theme is the opening weekend is our theme for today as well, because it's the opening weekend of the Premier League season. Let's start with this then, because this is my show and tell. Opening goals from the opening games of the Premier League season. I've gone for this one, which I think is the best by a good distance, actually, from Mario Stanic. I think our older viewers might remember this one. If not, this is from the 99-2000 season. On his debut as well. Picks it up, a couple of little juggle and a volley. What a hit that is. What a hit that is. If you never score a goal again in Premier League football, if you never score a goal again in football generally, that is it. He did go on to do a few more things. I think he got another 11 goals for Chelsea. He scored 2 in this game alone. So against West Ham, he had a wonderful old time. But what a goal that is.
Crazy. I can't believe he's even had thought to do that. Yeah, showing that boot, 100%.
So just to overview, this is our show and tell, right? So that was my example. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to tell you why I think that is the best goal from the opening weekend of the Premier League season. So let's see the next one, shall we? So this is a goal that I think, again, a lot of us are going to remember very, very fondly because it's only from last season. Elizabeth, this is yours. Reece James's opener last year against Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, this goal was just absolutely insane for me. One of the goals of the season last season, just looked 25 yards out, top bins. Really, really impressive from Reece James. And I think that was, since it was a contender for goal of the season, it was on opening day as well. Doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, that stays hit.
It does, doesn't it? It nearly rips off the corner of the net as well. He hits it so hard. So you're going to have your say and vote for which goal you think is the best goal. So vote for Stanic in the comments, please. Zach, who have you picked then, mate?
Well, I've gone for Crespo. Hopefully it'll come on screen in a second, because this is a worldie. Look at that. Onto the left foot, outside of the box. And the celebration ain't too bad, is it?
93rd minute as well, Zach.
Just go crazy. Just go crazy. Jose's telling him, unlucky, mate. Look, that's Crespo for you. Unfortunate, don't worry. And the boys love it. The boys absolutely love it. It's a brilliant goal. Little turn onto the left foot. How's that?
It's a great goal. It's not quite, a little juggle and a volley from Mario Stanic from 30-odd yards. I mean,
they're all contenders.
And again, Elizabeth, I'm being kinder to you as it's your first time on the show. Zach, I think you're out. No chance, mate. Elizabeth, it was a great goal, but you need to vote for your say. So who you think was the best goal in the comments below. Stanic is with one N, one I, one C. Let's move on to trending, shall we? And obviously, this is a chat about everything that's going on social media about Chelsea this week. We know what this is going to be, mainly, don't we? So let's have a little look at our first hashtag, which is "Look Who's Back."
I love it.
Elizabeth, it was I suppose the worst kept secret in the world that Romelu Lukaku was potentially going to be joining the football club. What did you make of his return?
Oh, I was really, really excited and happy about it. I mean, I think Chelsea have done really well to create a lot of chances, but last season we saw that they didn't necessarily convert all of the chances that they created, and we have been looking for this number 9 striker and a world-class striker at that, and we've got that in Romelu Lukaku. I mean, the guy can do everything. He scores 20-plus goals a season. He can play with his back to goal. He makes runs. He's going to be in the box reading the crosses. I think we're going to see a lot more tap-ins from him this season as well. And, he's just a menace. Look at him. He's so strong. He's so tall. You don't know what he's going to do. defenders are going to have such a problem defending against him. And I'm here for it. I can't wait to see what he gets up to.
Zach, as well, social media managers at football clubs must hate it at the moment because it seems that someone let the cat out of the bag a little bit early, and because he's a club legend, he kind of gets away with it, doesn't he, really? Didier Drogba unofficially announced it a few days before anything happened with I don't think he's on Photoshop himself, to be honest, mate, but when you're getting the seal of approval from Didier Drogba, that'll do, won't it?
Yeah, I'm sure the social media team were a bit fuming, but of course. I mean, he's always said as well, he looked up to Didier when he was here. He's just kind of like, looked at him as like his older brother. He had posters of him on his wall, and I think he's hoping to come here and kind of do what Didier did.
Well, like you've already said, Elizabeth, as well, he scores all types of goals, doesn't he? And I suppose that's what Chelsea were missing last year, is maybe someone that's really going to just get the goals that we need and score kind of last minute goals, ugly goals, someone that can provide all different types of goals this season will be very, very important for us.
Definitely, and I think that looking at last season, you're going to turn some of those losses and draws into wins because you're going to have that difference maker who's going to be able to score those goals for you. Last season, I think once Tuchel came in, we were averaging about a goal a game, and I think that's going to change with Lukaku. Honestly, seeing Arsenal yesterday, I feel like he could slide in a couple this coming weekend as well. So I'm really excited to see how he gets on at Chelsea, because I really think that it's going to be a great fit for him, especially how Tuchel plays and the players that he has surrounding him as well. I think it's going to be great for the entire team.
Absolutely right. I mean, it's going to be interesting as well, because we know that when you sign a big player, the rest of the league takes notice. Like this Manchester United fan who seems a little bit worried. I think that's probably the correct term to use here. Chelsea signing Lukaku means they've got no weaknesses. Top-class team with one of the best managers in the world. This Chelsea team is looking very scary. I think he said it better than we could, to be fair, Zach. And if opposition fans are being that honest and that upfront on social media, it says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. It's a world-class team full with world-class talent. And it's not just Lukaku as well that's going to be scoring. You've got Timo Werner, you've got Kai Havertz, you've got Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, hudson-odoi, Hakim Ziyech. Am I missing anyone? Maybe. I don't know. The list goes on, to be quite honest. Reece James with the finishes that he was doing last season. And it's so much talent everywhere, so much creativity everywhere. I mean, Romelu Lukaku last season must have been looking at this Chelsea side and going, oh my goodness, like, I can only dream to play here with all these guys supporting me, behind me. And now he's here, and I bet he cannot wait, as Elizabeth said, to play Arsenal, because Ben White is going to have a tough time marking him.
I mean, Elizabeth, I know we're all biased, but I think the Golden Boot is something that Romelu Lukaku will be looking at this season as well, won't he?
Oh, definitely. And something that's crossed my mind is he going to be Chelsea's new penalty taker as well? Because I think that, for me personally, it would just make sense that you take penalties. I think he scored all of the penalties that he took at Milan as well. And it just kind of helps to keep them on that roll, scoring goals. And I want to see him competing for that Golden Boot, and I definitely think that he can do it as well.
I think he's definitely will, and he'll definitely be eyeing up the penalty-taking duties, won't he? I mean, have a look at some more of the reaction then from social media this week. This is really good, because it's a very good point, isn't it? One thing that I really like about Lukaku is that he's not just a goal scorer. He's equally as good when it comes to creating chances for his teammates. He created the most chances for Inter Milan last season with 58 and had the most assists for Inter Milan. And again, with that, Zach, it kind of buys into the system that Thomas Tuchel wants to play, where everyone is kind of interchanging, everyone is playing a part and playing a part for the team.
100%. He's not the Lukaku we last saw in the Premier League when he was playing for United. He's not completely different player, but he's added more elements to his game. He's much better on the ball. He can pass really well. Maybe needs to do a bit more maybe defensive work under Tuchel, because we know how much he likes his strikers pressing, and I'm sure Tuchel will be able to get that to happen. But yeah, he's going to be so exciting when he plays.
Exactly what you said there, mate. I mean, this tweet from Blue Bridge has kind of summed up exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Left the boy returning a man. Right the wrongs, mate. Not everyone gets a second chance to achieve their dream. Home is where the heart is. Welcome home, Romelu Lukaku. We've all seen that lovely video of him and Anderlecht, and this is kind of the full circle effect that we're talking about there as well. 8th of August 2011, Romelu Lukaku undergoes his medical before a Chelsea move. 10 years to the day, undergoing the same medical to join again. I mean, it's been a great week for everyone that's digging up old tweets and stuff like that, isn't it? I mean, it's been fantastic to see that. The fact that we are 10 years down the line, Elizabeth, and he's a different player, but he's also the same player. We know what we're going to get with Romelu. We know how much it means for him to be here.
Definitely, and I'm assuming you guys saw that video of him when he was like 16 on a school trip going to Stamford Bridge. It was so touching, because you could just see how much it meant to him that he was going to be playing for Chelsea. And I don't think he would have left Milan for just any club. I think that this was really a Chelsea-specific driven move that he wanted to play for Chelsea. He had unfinished business there, and he wants to play for this club and be their main guy, and he's coming in as that.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. It's going to be an exciting afternoon. Romelu Lukaku not involved today, of course, but it is the first day back of the Premier League season. We're all very excited, and we've started a new segment, a new feature to kind of soak up the matchday experience. We sent Zach out a little bit earlier, strolling down the Fulham Road.
Okay, so I've just come out of Fulham Broadway, heading to Stamford Bridge for the first time in a year and a half. And I wanted to show you guys what the trip is like, what people can be doing on their way. We've just passed the deli stand, where some people get a bit of food before the game. We're also about to pass the merchandise shop. Some classic Chelsea kits there, some of the new ones as well. And whilst people are making this walk, considering they've not been here in, as I said, about a year and a half, they're all going to be thinking about seeing the European champions back at Stamford Bridge. I'm also just making sure I don't not get into anyone, because it is busy here. It's so busy, going from essentially, I think, 20,000 people previously at the pre-season games, nearly a full stadium is incredible. Just again, making sure I do not get hit by someone. Anyway, we are back, and it is buzzing round here. People are so happy to come back to the bridge. Going through, about to get through security as well. But all I can say is the atmosphere. People are so happy to be going back here. I'm already at the bridge. Look at that sight. People taking photos, queuing up for their season tickets. It's a beautiful sight to be back here at the bridge. The players are on the wall over there, and everyone is so excited to see the players back at the bridge. I'm sure people will be trying to have a little eye out to see if they can see Romelu Lukaku maybe in the stands, who unfortunately can't play in today's game, but they cannot wait to see him as well. Look at this, it's beautiful. I'm going to go outside the Osgood statue and then give you that look, but you can also see Azpilicueta lifting the Champions League 5 months ago. Look at this site, it's beautiful. God, 2 times European champions. Everyone's back at Stamford Bridge. They're buzzing, excited to see the Blues back. And why not end it at the legend that is Peter Osgood.
Love that, love that. Elizabeth, I want to talk to you about in our new segment now, which is Over Land and Sea, because obviously you're a Chelsea fan in New York at the moment, via Madrid as well. You say you spent part of your time there, but have you ever managed to get to a game at Stamford Bridge? And if you have, when was the last time you were here?
Yeah, so I actually studied abroad in London in 2014, and that's kind of how I discovered Chelsea and my love for them. So I went to a couple of games that year, and I visited again in 2015, I think. So it's been quite a few years since I've been at the bridge. I've been trying to get back, and I haven't been able to yet. So I'm hoping this fall I'll be able to finally get back to the bridge. I got chills watching that video. I was so excited. I really, really want to go at some point soon.
Well, we saw your reaction, me and Zach saw your reaction to one specific player when Zach mentioned his name, because I know that if anyone follows you on Twitter, they'll be well aware of who your favourite player is for Chelsea. It's certain Cesar Azpilicueta, maybe?
Yeah. I just think he's the best, honestly. He's just such a great captain. Yep, the best. What can I really say? I mean, I tweet about him all the time. He's so nice.
Well, I mean, we're just seeing a couple here. What can you really say? He's fantastic, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this photo just gives me chills, and kind of a funny story. I saw that he was training for the Spanish national team 10 minutes away from my house. So I tweeted like, "Oh, I'm going to go try to run into him." And then he saw the tweet and left me the signed jersey, which is the tweet that you see there, which is so nice. Who does that? He's training, he's so busy, and he took time to get a jersey, sign it, leave it for me. Is incredible.
That is absolutely lovely. I mean, what a man. And again, for someone to represent the club as well as he does on and off the pitch, it helps. He's a very good footballer as well, doesn't it, Elizabeth? That helps.
Yeah, it helps. I mean, I think time and time again, he's just showing how talented he is. He can play anywhere across the back line. He's so versatile, and he's still going. He's still a class defender. And what you know from Aspie is that he's going to put 120% on the pitch. He's always going to leave it. And he's the example that you want to have in your team.
Oh, let's have a little look at this from the Villarreal game then, because I think we know Aspie is very much involved in a lot of what's going on. However, he took a bit of stick here on from the boys around him.
I hope Lee was at him.
Well, we've seen this, haven't we? We've seen Cesar Azpilicueta giving Lee Parker, our stadium reporter, a little bit of stick during some of the pre-season games. And I know that Azpi then tweeted that the admin he's very much coming for. So if you are the admin, Zach, you'd be scared because he's a man with power, Cesar Azpilicueta.
Indeed, he's a man that's won the Champions League. He can do anything he wants.
He's fantastic, isn't he? And again, like you said, it's nice to see him in a different role today, Elizabeth, because he's so versatile. There's a number of positions he can play in, but he makes the team better whenever he's in it.
Exactly. I think that just having that leader on the pitch, that example, knowing everything that he's done for the club as well, he just makes Chelsea better. And I hope that he retires with the club because he's the best. I'm lost for words, and yeah, he's my fave.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, he wasn't in my fantasy football team, because if he was, I'd be slightly more comfortable today. Let's have a little look at the new fantasy football stock report that we're doing on Matchday Live here, which is kind of going across our teams, what we think of the season so far. This is Elizabeth's team, and Elizabeth, I imagine you are feeling very, very smug at the moment having Bruno Fernandes in your team, because he's had a whale of a time against Leeds this morning.
I was honestly upset that I didn't captain him. Because he scored so many goals, and I was actually almost considering not having him in my team, and I'm so glad that I included him at the very last second. I took Ben White out at the very last second with 2 minutes until the deadline, so that ended up being a really good call as well. So let's see how it pans out for me.
I think it's going to pan out a little bit better than me, because if we've got my team, it's not gone so well. It's not gone so well. I've got. I did have Romelu Lukaku in until yesterday. The press conference told me that he wasn't going to be playing, so I took him out. I changed for Jamie Vardy, which is going to be a straight swap next week. But as you can see there, Kai Havertz as captain and Callum Hudson-Odoi as vice captain. So no Bruno, no Bruno
onto
in there.
aren't you?
Yeah, no Bruno in there. No Paul Pogba either. Yeah, Zach, not a fan of fantasy football then, no?
You know what it is? I'll play it for the first 3 weeks, and I'm into it, sure, and then I'll forget about it, and then I'm 50 points down, and then I just lose it. A draft, I don't mind. Draft, because then if I pick Mason Mount, you can't pick Mason Mount, and that way, if I kind of leave it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Nice.
Just too much. I'm a busy man.
You are. This is a final segment of the show today. Is a new segment called In Case You Missed It. A little bit of a lighter look across social media from this week, and we are starting with a new piece of ink for one of our Kings of Europe, Reece James's tattoo.
Cool.
This, I mean, Elizabeth, this is stunning. It almost makes me want to get a Champions League tattoo, even though I wasn't part of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, for Reece especially, I think, being so young and already having that, it's just so special. And I mean, it's just brilliant. It really, really suits him, I think.
Zach, have you ever fancied a football-inspired tattoo?
My mother would go through the roof. My dad would probably send me back to Algeria, to be quite honest. No, but I think I've got the legs. I've got the legs for it. I've got the legs. Got decent calves, so I reckon I could rock that Champions League tattoo.
I think he's Jack Grealish over it. We spoke about him a little bit earlier, but this was a lovely picture on social media regarding Trevor Chiloba, who basically just showed that dreams can come true and to keep going. I mean, UEFA Ball Boy nights. Look how young he is here against Lionel Messi. You see Trevor there against Lionel Messi. And then, time flies, dream big. He's playing in the Super Cup, winning the Super Cup. And I think just out of that cropped image as well is Mason Mount.
No.
Yeah, I believe so. Elizabeth's nodding. Elizabeth, you've seen it then as well. Just out of that is Mason Mount as well.
Yeah, Mace with like the really long, shaggy hair. He was there as well.
Oh my!
It's stunning. I mean, Elizabeth, you've already kind of answered my next question, which is, have you ever met any of your footballing heroes? So Zach, I'll ask you, because I know that Cesar Azpilicueta giving you the shirt is probably the best story you could have. So Zach, I mean, you're not going to top that, mate. But what have you got?
I've met Mason Mount. I've met Mason Mount, and he is my hero. Maybe not when I was growing up, because I didn't know so much about him. But yeah, no, he's my hero now, and he's a legend. He really is.
Absolutely love that. Let's have a look at one final thing, which is something new, actually, to a lot of us, which is Jose Mourinho getting in a little bit of bother with some match officials. Jose was red carded during AS Roma's friendly with Real Betis. There was a lot of cards shown in that, but this is midway through the game as well. He comes on here. I'm fairly certain this is midway through the game. Just decides he doesn't like it. Elizabeth, you've got to appreciate the passion, haven't you? But this is typical Jose.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was reading about it online, and apparently it was tied 2-2, and then somebody scored with their arm, and Jose got really upset and stormed onto the pitch, and then he got carded as well. But I mean, just typical Jose. I mean, what can you really expect? You gotta admire his passion for the game.
Absolutely, and it was a friendly, Zach. So have you ever got angry when it didn't really matter?
Football. I'm the referee like there's no tomorrow. It's a bad trait, like I know. But when I play football, yeah, I'm always at the referee. What are you doing? Wrong decision. Had a few yellow cards. Yet to be sent off, because after that I'm a good boy. But yeah, no, always in the referee's ear.
Elizabeth, what about yourself? In a sporting context or non-sporting context, have you ever got angry when it didn't really matter?
I mean, probably with sporting, like if Chelsea don't win, I always get in a really bad mood. And my husband was like praying that we won the Champions League because I was a nervous wreck the entire day. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you if Chelsea don't win. So he could probably give you more examples than I can off the top of my head. But yeah.
That's fantastic. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you're going to be sending us your match report as well, so we'll have you in the post-match show. Zach, thank you for joining me as well. Let's make sure that you obviously stick around and join us for a little bit later on. But now it's time to pass you over to Jason Cundy and Ben Andrews. We're going to take you through the warm-up.
Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff at home, sun shining and players warming up here at Stamford Bridge in preparation for the opener against Palace. It's not a bad opener to have, is it? Although they have had a more normal preparation period, incidentally, and they haven't lost Palace, incidentally. But let's take a little look at Team Tuchel going through their paces out there. A smiling coach. He wouldn't call it a proper pre-season. Indeed, there's a very interesting long interview article with him in today's Matchday programme where he's talking about that. But at least he's had some form of preparation time, Jason, which he obviously didn't do, coming in cold and had a game, what, 36 hours later, wasn't it? Wolves here, I think it was 36 hours, something ridiculous like that. Yes, it was. But in terms of his selection issues today, let's start looking at some of the front three options. Ziyech has been the main man in pre-season for goals. Mount, we know, seems to be able to just get fit in no time at all. Christian Pulisic playing today. Very, very big game for Christian. But, I mean, is it OK that we have these expectations on Mason Mount, Player of the Year?
I think so. I think so. And I think he enjoys that responsibility. I think he loves the fact now that he is expected to be on the team sheet. I remember there was a game last season, can't remember which one, and we both looked, man, there's no Mason. That was our first instincts. So I think that just goes to show his importance to this team. But we have such a wide variety of options. Timo Werner now has to play down the middle, right? I'm not a massive fan of him down there, but he can do a role as long as they are in close contact with him and there's going to be some link-up play and you're looking for Mace. As he come off the bench, Ben, you've done the comms midweek, Mason was the one that was trying to get him beyond. I want to see that. You don't necessarily have to play with a number 9 that stays on the centre halves. They can drift, cause someone else problems. The false number 9 is what we're talking about here. That can happen. But when you look at the team itself, Jorginho comes in, who's had a lot of football. You've then got cover alongside him. Clearly, N'Golo has picked up a little bit of a knock. We saw him leave the pitch at the weekend. But we don't quite know what we're going to get from Palace, do we? We don't know what we're going to get.
It's certainly not going to be Roy Hodgson football. Apparently, he's going to be letting the shackles off. The funny thing as we talk about this front three is that realistically, Jason, you never know, but realistically, 2 to 3 weeks from now, it will probably look very different to what today's is. So, you know, 3 weeks from now, it could be a big number 9 up top in Romelu Lukaku, Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, which is maybe one of the three that are starting today.
It will look very different, but that's the point, really, that there are options. and the options are unlimited. You can make a combination of maybe 7 or 8 players that can play in 3 positions. Now, I don't know the maths on that, Ben. I know you're more intelligent than me, but I don't expect you to know the combination numbers there either.
Well, I do know that last season, 17 different front 3 combinations were used.
Okay.
17.
Well, then that gives you some indication. And then you're adding another string to that bow with Lukaku. I know that Giroud has gone, and I get all that, but Lukaku will have a far bigger play than what Giroud did.
I was reading something interesting this week. It was some German journalists talking about Timo Werner, and I used to work a fair bit on the Bundesliga, and Timo Werner's best season, where he banged in over 30 goals for Leipzig, was one where he was not centre-forward. It was where he was playing off the left, kind of as he generally does for Thomas Tuchel, not today. But there was a big, unselfish number 9 who played for Denmark in the Euros. Yusuf Poulsen, his name is, a guy with a sort of dreadlock ponytail. And Werner's best goal-scoring season was when he was left channel and Poulsen was the sort of unselfish number 9. So I kind of thought with Giroud last term we might see Werner looking better when Giroud was in there, and I wonder how that might work with Lukaku.
Yeah, and that's the question a lot of Chelsea fans are asking.
Batter the defenders, make some space, and Werner or Havertz or Mount get to make the hay from that.
Yes, that's the mouth-watering prospect. And as a manager, those combinations for every different game you've got to get right. So you won't want to play the same combination as you would against Arsenal away as you would at Burnley at home. There has to be a different approach, and the options are absolutely crucial. It's a phrase that's often used, and it's often used because it's very true. The best squad tends to win the league. Tends to, right? Not everyone, but it tends to win the league. Chelsea's squad is immense at the minute.
Yeah, I don't think it's any coincidence that last term Chelsea and Manchester City, I mean, obviously you can't legislate for what goes on in a knockout competition, but lo and behold, they're the 2 in the Champions League final, and they are the 2 that, hands down, have the deepest squads and the fewest injury issues, and that there is something to be said for that. Just watching them all warm up, there, new warm-up tops, of course, down there, and we've got a few boys looking for their first action of the summer, and I'm sure we will discuss them in a bit. The likes of Reece James and Emerson and Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell, who've really not been playing any football at all recently. We'll discuss them in a bit, but just for now, Jason has been taking a look at what might be tweakable from last season to this season.
When Thomas Tuchel first came in, he recognised the problems that we had, and they were defensive. He set us up in a 3 at the back and a 5 without the ball, and defensively we were very, very solid. Unfortunately, we didn't concede many, but also we didn't score many either. But that was our success, and that's why we won the Champions League. So moving forward to this season, now we have Lukaku, we can play a little bit higher up the pitch. We have such attacking strength and options in Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Mount, just to name a few. We can press high up the pitch as well. We've got pace, we've got energy, and when we win the ball, we've also got clinical finishers as well. But the counter-attacking style of football is still very much alive, and that was something that we did last season as well. The pace of Werner can get in behind defences. If he's got the support, as he will have with Havertz and Lukaku, we should be devastating on the attack as well. Also, he might go 2 up top. Tammy and Batshuayi here on this occasion linking up. If we want to chase a game, it might be that we go that 2 up top and maybe have 1 in behind as a number 10 as well. All we do know is, though, that we have a tactical mastermind in Thomas Tuchel. It's going to be interesting to see how he sends his team out this season.
Indeed it will. We're not expecting any major shape changes, are we, from him? There's been a couple of moments in game where he's gone to a 4 at the back, maybe in the second half, but we are talking, you know, the exceptions that prove the rule here. And Chelsea players warming up in the sun here, everyone bar N'Golo and Lukaku available today. Christian Pulisic is going to be our next port of call, Jason. I feel this is, I'm not going to use the phrase make or break. I don't know what 1 notch down from that is, because it's not as finite as make or break. But I feel like he's got to come to the party even more this term.
I agree with that, Ben, and I think if you were to speak to him privately, he would probably admit that as well. I think we have to take into consideration the injury that he had last year, the back end of last season. He was outstanding when we come out of Project Lockdown. I maybe go as far as say the best player in the league, possibly, maybe.
For about 4 weeks.
He was exceptional. And then the hamstring against Arsenal. And a player that relies on his pace, or so much about his game is the pace. I remember Michael Owen, who had a lot of hamstring injuries, and his game changed. Now, I don't know whether that was because he was tentative or perhaps his hamstring got tight, I don't know. But Pulisic will know himself that he's been here, this is his 3rd season now, right? He come for a lot of money. Replacing Hazard is not easy, although you could argue that potentially wasn't what he was doing, but really it was. And now he's got to step up because the competition for places in and around that area is fierce. And I think unless he can put in a performance or performances to show that he can deliver consistently, it might be a frustrating season for him.
His first season, he got 11 goals in 33 appearances, most of them starts. Last term, as you can see there on the side of the screen, 43 appearances, 6 goals, 4 assists. Now, that appearances stat can be a bit misleading. He only started 25 times, so 18 of them off the bench, and quite a few of those will have been late last 10 minutes. So you got, but those kind of numbers, and I remember we used to say similar things about Willian, actually, that a player in that kind of position, playing as much as that, you would expect maybe more like 10 goals, not 6, or 12 goals and as many assists again. In terms of actual output, those numbers have got to go up, haven't they? For him to keep a place in this side, they'll have to go up.
The point you make about substitutions is an absolute valid one, and really those stats, they need to reflect that, so it gives you a fair reflection on exactly the games he's played and what he's delivered. But the point you're making is a valid one. His numbers aren't great. His numbers need to improve, and they can improve, as he showed in the first season. He is capable. But of course, as I said before, Ben, the opportunities for 90-minute starts, if you get yourself in a bit of a bad run, in particular at a club like Chelsea, you might find yourself out the starting lineup for only 6 or 7 weeks. And you've got to fight your way back in. So when the chance comes, when opportunity knocks, you've got to take it.
Well, Callum Hudson-Odoi has been here since the start of pre-season training. Funnily enough, Pulisic and Ziyech, 2 other players in those positions we're talking about there, have also been here for all of it. I guess Ziyech, we're expecting to be out not too long, but you know that means with Lukaku as a front 3 option not available today, with Ziyech not an option yet.
Sorry, Ben, interesting.
These are the games where you've got to do it. What have you spotted?
The Palace have gone in, and every Chelsea player's out. It's a long time to be in, you know.
They did come out a little before Chelsea did.
Yeah, but they're in the dressing room longer now. Just something up, which I have to say, it's rare you see. With what we're talking, yes, just under 18 minutes till kick-off?
Yeah, well, 20-ish.
20-ish?
Yeah.
What was it?
Okay. Oh, 18, no, my watch has stopped.
Okay, 18. So, it's a long time to be in the dressing room for a game. Something I've just picked up on. It's so obvious when you look at it now. You know, one side of the pitch, it's just got Chelsea players, the other one is completely bare.
Callum Hudson-Odoi knocking up down there with Kurt Zuma. I can see Tammy Abraham there as well. I could see Tony Rudiger having a chat with Cesar Azpilicueta. And Alonso's just put one into the Matthew Harding fans. Look at that, beautiful. And fans inside Stamford Bridge. We talk so much about how weird it was when we started doing those games post-lockdown, with there being no one, and we said if this goes on for a while, that it'll be weird again when it started having fans in it. It actually felt strange to me again today, walking in and through the concourse and there being loads of people again.
Honestly, Ben, I've said this many times, but I don't care if I repeat myself. One of the most distressing sights I've ever seen at a football match is coming in to watch a Champions League or Premier League FA Cup game that really matters, and there's no one here. I will never ever get used to it. It was the most... You and I, we were very fortunate. I felt privileged, that fact that I could come to Premier League games and see all these games here. But let me tell you now, today's sight with fans here, it's just wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. And you know, I'm meeting some friends of mine My son's got a season ticket here. I'm going to meet him down in the bar in Frankie's later on. I've got some friends. We can actually, life has returned, or starting to return. But let me tell you now, a football stadium without fans is absolutely nothing.
Couldn't agree more. Last time I was here, I think, was probably Real Madrid. A game of that magnitude under dark grey skies with absolutely no bugger in the building was very strange. But I've just seen a smiling Emerson Kerr went into the Matthew Harding net over there. He'll definitely still be smiling at a Euro winner. As we watch the very last of them go back in, there's Ben Chilwell, there's Callum, and I could see, I think that's Marcus Bettinelli, a player who we may get a look at some point, perhaps in the Carabao Cup, if not before. And I doubt we'll see any substitute goalkeepers today, but you never know. As the last have just gone in, so this is how it should be. Sun shining, fans in, and a 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff. I rather like that rather than the sun, rather than a Monday night or a Friday night.
Football really has returned to the old days, hasn't it?
Groundsmen and water being sprayed, and lots of happy people looking forward to a new season. Plus ça change, though. Bruno Fernandes scoring goals, Arsenal being leaky and rubbish. So we just presume Thomas Tuchel's team will continue merrily on their way today. I
expect that, Ben.
But we just don't know about this Palace side, do we? It's totally
this
different.
Is it. A new manager, pretty much a new team, and a number of players. Scott Dan has left. Gary Cahill has left as well. New manager, new style of play. If this was Roy Hodgson's Palace rocking up here, I could tell you exactly how this game would probably pan out. I could tell you pretty much, but I just don't know, because Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace is going to be very different to Roy Hodgson's.
Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace are already locked in for longer than usual, according to Jason, in their dressing room. And the Chelsea boys in there too. And it feels normal. Forget the old new normal. This is the new normal. And kick-off is, about 15 minutes away from now as we head back to the boys in the studio.
Class as always, boys. Thank you very much. Ben Andrews and Jason Cundy, they'll be back for commentary not too long away now, Zach. And it's like they've said, it's lovely to see fans back in the stadium. It's lovely to have that moment where whether you've walked in from wherever, whether you've got the tube in, you've got the train in, you've driven, have that moment where you just see the ground for the first time, like we saw on your walk up from Stamford Bridge earlier, strolling down Fulham Road. It's just beautiful to be back, isn't it?
It's beautiful because Stamford Bridge and Chelsea is like essentially in the heart of London. As you're walking down, and it's so London. The streets you're seeing the shops busy, buses going by, and then you walk past, and there's this opening to just seeing Stamford Bridge, and it's beautiful every single time. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have been here quite a bit, especially obviously since working with Chelsea. And every single time I come to the bridge, there's always just like that little 8-year-old boy in me that's just like so happy and so excited. And then you see the pitch and you just go, wow, like this is the real deal.
Do you know, that's what we like about... I know we've spoken about Trevor Chiloba as well. We've spoken about players that have made the academy step up into the first team. But that's what we love to see, because we as fans, you want to see younger players that have made that same connection with the club that we have playing for your football team.
Well, I literally have just seen the youth team turn up to come watch the first team, right? And for these guys to now go in there and watch Mason Mount, watch Reece James, Trevor Chiloba, who's just starting his first Premier League game, like the inspiration that must give them to go, wow, like it is so possible. And not just possible, it's also then possible to win the Champions League in this team. It's so incredible, man. It's a really like beautiful story that's like coming together so perfectly.
I don't know if you're picking up that noise as well, because we can just about hear the fans in the shed right behind us here. So this is what it's about, then, mate. This is it, isn't it? You get close to kick-off, you get excited. Let's carry on the chat about Trevor, because he must feel 15 feet tall coming into this game. He played superbly in the Super Cup, played brilliantly all the way through pre-season. But the general consensus is usually you play well in pre-season, you're a younger player, you'll be involved. Thiago Silva will come back in this weekend. Kurt Zouma will come back in. Aspie will come into the back three. Reece will come into the back three. The nod that he's been given today from Thomas Tuchel shows exactly where he is on his development, and that he could be a massive part for Chelsea this season. Yeah,
I mean, this wasn't part of the game plan, I don't think. I think, as I said earlier, Trevor probably wasn't expecting to start the first Premier League game. Maybe secretly he was like, you know what, I want to push. I want to make sure I try and stay in this squad and come in the first team. But to start the first Premier League game, it is a huge feat. And not just started, but having played in the previous Super Cup and the pre-season games and looked comfortable in every single one. And at times, the best player on the pitch. I remember we were at Bournemouth for the pre-season game at the very beginning, and we came off and was like, wow, he was incredible. And to come, through there a month later and start for the Premier League, his family, himself must be over the moon, and he's a credit. To this club, and I can only wish him the best.
Absolutely right. And again, his versatility. He can play in the middle of the three, he can play on the right of a back three, he can play on the left of a back three as well. Played midfield for Lorient last year on loan. Carlo Cudicini was speaking up his kind of adaptability to be able to play anywhere, really.
Yeah.
There's, I suppose, an element of this Chelsea team that's going to need that going forward in the front three as well as the back three, because you look at Timo Werner today, we assume he's going to be playing through the middle, but again, we don't quite know until the starting comes up. But for Christian Pulisic, for Mason Mount and Timo Werner, there's a big Rom shadow now that is looming on the training ground that's going to want to make one of those front three berths his own. It's important now to show the manager you can play in a number of those positions to make sure you're in that squad coming forward.
Well, that's what Tuchel wants. He wants his players being versatile. Reece James can play right back, can play right wing back, can play centre back. And it also allows you to adapt on the field to certain situations. You can maybe attack into it with a 2 up top formation, even though written down it's 3 up top, but you can have a 10 playing in the middle there, whether that's Mason Mount or Christian Pulisic or whoever it be. And then when defending, you go back to a 3. And it's about making these decisions on the pitch naturally. And that's what training's all about, is seeing what kind of circumstances you come up against and allowing it. I remember I've seen Tuchel talk about it many times, that he doesn't want to teach his players to be, this is what you do, he wants them to be free in their own thinking. And that once they get into this scenario where there's a fullback that's closing them all the time, or whatever situation it be, they're playing 3-back, 4-back, whatever it is, that they make the decision themselves. And hopefully that's what will happen this season.
Definitely. Final preparations ahead of the opening of the Premier League season happening for one or two on social media, getting involved as well. Thank you very much. Have a little look at this then, pre-match preparations going through. I mean, how can you not have the Mason Mount shirt ready for it as well? I mean, it's almost time for, it says almost game time for Chelsea FC. Got the new 2021 shirts ready. Mason Mount is going to have a big day. He's going to have a great season this year, Mason Mount. Let's talk about Mason, because we're not seeing a huge amount of that from him in pre-season. Obviously involved heavily and went deep in the Euros with England, but a big chance for Mason again today to show why he's player of the season.
Look, I think it speaks volumes that Mason Mount's first minutes for Chelsea was back in that Super Cup when he came on as a sub and played 45 minutes, including extra time, roughly, maybe a bit longer, maybe an hour. And first game back in the Premier League, Tuchel knows how important he is, straight back into that squad. And he's a fit guy. He's a guy that wants to play football. I'm sure, I wouldn't be too surprised if we got to the 60th minute or so, and if we were winning, you'd see him come off, make sure I think Tuchel always talks about that red zone, making sure players, he's always very careful with how many minutes players get. But he's so important to this Chelsea squad. Look at the Champions League goal. Right, it comes from Ben Chilwell to Mason Mount, picks a perfect pass to Havertz. He's so integral to this side, whether it's the assist or the pre-assist or the tackling midfield to win back the ball. He's so good. He lives and breathes Chelsea. The fans, I bet they cannot wait to see him, because keep in mind, right, it's been a year and a half. When they left, he was still a teenager. Yeah. He was still very young, and he's come so far in that year and a half to win the Champions League and to essentially kind of be the star guy for Chelsea now. The fans cannot wait. And if he ever puts that captain armband back on with the fans, it'll be fantastic.
We've seen the bounce from Manchester United earlier in the early kick-off about how having a full house and players that have not really experienced that before. And like you just pointed out there, Mason Mount's a very different player to the last time some of these Chelsea fans will have seen him with their own eyes, sort of thing. And Kai Havertz, Timo Werner as well. There's so many players within this squad that haven't had a chance to appreciate a full Stamford Bridge just yet. Today's going to be a big deal emotionally for us as fans, but also as the players as well.
Hugely. I think sometimes when people talk about fans and what they can do, they don't quite realise how important they are. The 12th man is a legitimate thing. When your team needs the support and they aren't maybe playing as well, and they need the fans, the 40,000 people or so at Stamford Bridge to push them forward in that last 15 minutes to find that goal. A lot of goals happen near the end of games, and that is a big part of it due to fans pushing them. And when you're the opposition as well, right? These guys haven't played in front of 40,000 people kind of booing them for 90 minutes. And so that's why it's so important. And just to watch your team, obviously having just won the Champions League as well, come back and support them. It's going to be a very special day here.
It really is. Who are you looking at within the team then as someone that not needs a performance, because it's first game of the season, everyone needs a performance, everyone wants to play well, but who are you looking at today that's going to make the difference for Chelsea?
I think Christian Pulisic has a big game on here. We mentioned how many attackers that we have fighting for positions here. And probably you kind of feel that Mason Mount is a mainstay. He's so important to the way Chelsea play. Now, that other kind of wing position, whether that be left wing back, whether that be attacking mid, whatever it be, left mid, is where things may change a lot. Ziyech may come in, hudson-odoi might come in, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner can play there. And so he needs to kind of start well today, get a goal, get an assist or so, like he did against Palace. He was fantastic against Palace when he played this position last time. And yeah, if he has a good game, I think he'll kind of nail down that spot to be his, or for someone to try and take it from him.
Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. Well, we are not too far away from kick-off. Chelsea about to get underway in the Premier League against Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. We'll have first half commentary for you very soon.